The lobby froze. A black woman stood at the counter, holding a government-issued check with her name across the front. The teller's voice cut sharply through the air, loud enough for every customer to hear. "This looks suspicious. We don't cash checks like this for people like you." Gasps. Stares. Whispers spread across the marble floor like fire. A security guard shifted in place, one hand already sliding toward his radio. The woman opened her mouth to speak, but before a word could leave her lips, the glass doors of the bank slammed open. Agents in dark jackets stormed inside. 3 bold letters blazed across their backs: FBI. The entire branch went silent. A moment ago she was being humiliated. Now every head turned toward her. Who was this woman? Why were the feds here for her? Her name was Dr. Alana Brooks, 42 years old, Harvard PhD, professor of criminal justice, and beyond that, an advisor to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. Today she wasn't in a lecture hall or briefing room. She was simply running errands, standing in the polished marble lobby of a prestigious downtown bank. Chandeliers glittered overhead. Brass vault doors gleamed in the corner. The place smelled of leather wallets, cologne, and arrogance. Across from her, behind the counter, stood the young teller, Megan, barely 24, blonde hair pulled into a tight bun, her expressions sharp and dismissive, her tone thick with condescension. And looming behind her, the branch manager, Mr. Collins. His suit was crisp, his tie perfectly knotted, but his eyes carried something colder than professionalism. Near the door, the security guard stood ready to remove trouble. The bystanders, the other customers, were a mixture of silence and smirks. Some watched with discomfort but said nothing. Others leaned forward, entertained by the unfolding humiliation. Moments earlier, Dr. Brooks had slid the federal check across the counter. It wasn't a fortune, but it was a large payment for consulting. "Ma'am, I work with the Justice Department. If you check..." But Megan cut her off. "Don't waste my time. Do you even have an account here?" "Figures." That's when Mr. Collins stepped in, his cologne arriving before his words. His voice was smooth but dripping with superiority. "Ma'am, we have every right to deny suspicious transactions. You should leave before this gets uncomfortable." The security guard shifted closer. A woman in line whispered, "Good, teach her a lesson." Dr. Brooks felt her heart hammering, but her face remained calm. "I suggest you call your corporate fraud division before you accuse a customer of a crime." Megan laughed out loud. "Lady, you're not fooling anyone. You really think the government writes you a check this size?" Her laughter spread. A few customers snickered. Alana's dignity was being shredded in front of strangers. Mr. Collins leaned across the counter, lowering his voice to something darker. "Let me make this simple. People like you walk in with stolen checks every week. You're lucky I don't call the police right now." The words echoed across the marble lobby like a gavel slamming down. The security guard stepped forward. Dr. Brooks stood still. Mr. Collins straightened his suit jacket. "You have 10 seconds to leave before I have you arrested." 10 seconds. That was the ultimatum. The humiliation was complete. Every bystander watched, some disgusted, some entertained, but none intervened. But before the 10th second ticked away, before she could even answer, the glass doors slammed open with force. Heavy boots struck the marble floor in unison. Jackets marked with bold white letters filled the lobby. FBI. Gasps. Gasps. The crowd recoiled. Megan's smirk melted instantly. Collins blinked in shock, his hand falling from his tie. The security guard froze, his posture stiff as stone. The lead agent spoke, his voice cutting through the stunned silence. "Dr. Brooks, are you..." The air shifted. Customers looked around in confusion. Wait, Dr. Brooks? She wasn't just a customer. She wasn't just anybody. Alana turned slowly, her calm restored. She nodded once to the agents. "Thank you for arriving so quickly. I believe this branch has a serious problem with discrimination." The teller's face drained of color. Her lips quivered. I didn't know." The manager tried to recover, his voice shaky. "Dr. Brooks, please understand. There must have been some mistake." But the FBI agents weren't smiling. Their presence was heavy, undeniable. The lead agent turned his sharp gaze toward the staff. "We'll be filing an immediate report. Discrimination, false accusation, harassment. You'll be hearing from our legal team." The teller's composure collapsed. She looked like she might cry. The manager's hands shook as he fumbled with papers that no longer mattered. The security guard looked away, ashamed. Meanwhile, the FBI escorted Dr. Brooks into a private office, where her check was verified within minutes. The funds were approved, legitimate, beyond question. When she returned to the lobby, she held her cash in her hand, her dignity untouched, her silence louder than any argument. Every head in the bank was lowered, every whisper had stopped. The same customers who once mocked her now looked at the floor, ashamed of their complicity. Alana didn't gloat. She didn't rage. She didn't need to. She simply lifted her chin, gathered her things, and walked toward the exit. But before stepping out, she stopped at the door, turned back, and let her words echo across the marble walls. Next time, treat every customer like a human being. You never know who's standing in front of you. And with that, she walked out. The doors closed behind her, leaving the teller, the manager, the guard, and the entire bank in silence. The humiliation had flipped. The shame had landed exactly where it belonged. Karma had spoken. Never judge someone by appearance. Never assume dignity belongs only to those who